Good morning, my friends. I have to share my morning today. I just feel that it has a lot of meaning to it that can happen in just life in general. I had my weight and up on the counter because I block off a curtain from the past the bathroom up and over my kitchen area to help keep the back warm when I have cold evenings, and where I'm at, the evenings have been kind of cold. So I put my dumbbell weight up on the counter to help keep the curtain up there. Well, I forgot that I had put my weight there because I just started using it up there. I was using something else and went to take the curtain down, and then down came my weight and my dumbbell, and I use that a lot to keep my arms and my body and everything in shape, you know. So I keep all my muscles strengthened, because at my age, if you don't keep them used, when you go to use them for the first time in this lifestyle, maybe picking something up a tiny bit heavy, because I do have a weight limit of 10 pounds. I think my dumbbell is like 3 pounds, you know. So I don't injure myself, you know. And anyway, so down my weight went, and it just broke in two. So I'm going to show you it. And also what, I don't know, just something just came to my mind as I'm seeing my dumbbell that I need so much in life break in two, and I have no way of replacing it, at least for several more days or a half a week or more. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I really need this. But how many times in our life, just in life in general, happen like this, you know, where in a blink, in a second, your whole world can change. The whole world can shatter. But I'll show you first, and while I was picking it up, something that came to my mind that I just really feel compelled to share this with you. Okay, so let me show you my broken 3-pound dumbbell. Okay, so here is my broken dumbbell, and it just snapped in two. And I didn't know, like inside of one of them where it broke open, it's got all these little beads, you know, that are inside of it that give it some kind of weight. And it was all over the floor, and I still have to pick it up off this little carpet, you know, that's right here. Okay. So I started sweeping it up, and of course this wasn't how I wanted my morning to go. And in this lifestyle, you'll have many mornings like this, and even in everybody's, you know, life, wherever you're at, you're going to have mornings that'll start off like this, where it's not how you want it to go, and something will happen, you know. And so I'm picking these up and sweeping it all up, and I'm thinking about all these broken beads, you know, all these things, and how much sometimes our life can be broken like this. You know, our lives feel broken like this, and we're having to piece our lives back together. And as we're piecing our life back together, you know, we have to do it one step at a time. You know, as I'm picking up each bead, sometimes in our life doesn't go back together, you know, quickly. We have to piece it back together one moment at a time, one day at a time. And this kind of represented, as I picked up each one of these beads, you know, that sometimes we feel like our life, you know, we want it to be fixed so quickly, when our life is broken, or maybe our bodies are broken, or maybe we're struggling something with our mind, and we want it to be fixed right away. But that's just not sometimes how life is. Sometimes the journey is more slowly. And like each one of these beads, and I'm putting it all back together, it's going to take time. It's going to take one day at a time, 1 second at a time, 1 moment at a time. But if we keep our focus to the end of the journey, of where we know, where we want maybe our thoughts to be, our mind to be, our day to be, our life, if we just stick to it, 1 step at a time, we will get there. We just never can give up. We have to stay strong. And I know a lot of my followers have health issues. And sometimes too, and I relate this to those issues, where we get overwhelmed, and what helps me is I focus on those days where I feel the best. And I know I can get my body back there again when maybe my body isn't there, or maybe when it got broken, or maybe I'm struggling with something emotionally in my life, or with someone in your life, and, but I just focus on, this day won't always be that way. This day will change. And to keep focus on 1 day at a time, how it feels today isn't going to be how it's going to be tomorrow if I'm feeling in a bad way. And to keep my focus on the end result, the good, the positive, and, where I want my mind to be, to keep it in that, end journey thought, and that day will pass, then everything gets better. I mean, it really does. And sometimes life is just not always how we want it. It's very hard. It's very difficult. But it doesn't always stay that way. I mean, it can be difficult, but it's how we focus on it. It's how our mind is. And we need to shift our mind. We need to keep our mind on positive things, and that this too shall pass. And then everything will be okay. I'll show you the end result. Now, before I put this back together, I also thought of one more thing, is that when life doesn't go our way and it's broken or something happens, we also want to get angry, or, resentment or bitterness, or so many emotions can come. But if we feed that, in the end result, it's still broken. Being angry, being bitter, frustrated, whatever those emotions, it doesn't fix anything. In fact, in my experience, it always has made everything worse. If you're having a relationship issue and you get angry, all that anger does is put, dissension between you and that person, hostility, and then, that doesn't make things better. And I've also noticed that when people are angry, they say things. And they might say things that they don't mean to. But once those words come out, you can't take them back. They'll always stay in that other person's mind and heart. And, you can get to forgiveness, but the words are always there. So one of the things, even through a broken situation, if it has to do with a person, we have to guard our tongue, our mouth. Watch what we say, because, you know, you can't take back your words sometimes. Forgiveness is there, but sometimes things stay deep, deep in the heart. And so those are things to think about. If you have a situation and you get angry, you're still dealing with the situation. It's still broken. So getting angry isn't going to fix anything. In fact, we can't always rationally think through our anger. I do breathing techniques, and soon I'll talk about my new challenge that I am going through with my life, with my physical body, and also some other things that are going on deep in my heart and deep in my mind that are a huge struggle right now in my life. But only I can fix it, and only I can keep my mind on a more positive journey, a more better life for me. No one else can do that for me but myself. And so I'll be sharing more soon. I don't know exactly when, but, you know, I just have so much in my heart and in my heart and in my brain that I want to share, that I have just been learning and growing, and this just came at a perfect time. Okay, so let me put it back together, and I'll show you also how I see it when it's back together. Now, some of you might have noticed I didn't fix my hair, because that wouldn't have been reality. I mean, that happened first thing in the morning, and I had no time. I didn't fix my hair. I had stuff all over the floor. That's not reality. I wanted this to be real. I mean, this is how life hits us sometimes. Okay, I kind of brushed it down just a little bit with my fingers, so maybe it might look a little bit more presented. But remember, I mentioned in my earlier videos, I've never been vain about, you know, my hair or my looks or anything like that. So this is reality. So here is the finished dumbbell. Okay, all taped, all back together. You know, does it look like it looked before? I mean, sometimes in life when we piece our lives back together, they don't always, you know, look like they did before. There might be changes that we have to make, you know, to have a better life, or to overcome an obstacle, or whatever is going on in our life. Sometimes, you know, it requires change. Sometimes things aren't going to be the same, you know, but in the end result, you know, it's still strong. As long as we keep our mind in a positive place, and find the good in every situation, whatever we're going through, then we can see the positive. We can see the good in it. Actually, this doesn't look the same, but you know, it feels so much better to my hands. I have arthritis in my hands, and who'd think that putting tape around, you know, this actually feels better now that I have had to do this change to it. And it's still strong, it's still good, it still works. So I hope this encourages people that no matter what you're going through, and sometimes we don't always see the end result, you know, I mean, we kind of try to, sometimes we can envision an end result of where we want our life, where we want our thoughts, where we want, sometimes life surprises us with these good sudden changes in our life, you know, and the important thing is to not get stuck, you know, Embrace what happens. Try to keep your mind positive. When you're going through a struggle, sometimes struggles aren't instantly fixed. They take times. I've had struggles where it took several years for me to get through. And I'm not talking about my body. I'm talking about something else. Or, many, many years. Of course, when I go through a physical challenge with my body, it could take months to get through a situation. I've had to learn, that life doesn't always bring instant gratification and instant results and changes, but it takes determination. Okay? Determination in life, determination in our thoughts, in our, in our heart. And of course, I've shared, and I have a faith in God that also gives me my strength. But I also have to do other things too. I have to control my thoughts. I always have to, I have a part to do too, besides my faith. We all have a journey. So I hope this helps many people in life as you struggle through things. Sometimes it's not always going to look like it used to be. But to find the good and find the positive in the change, or remember, take one day at a time, one moment at a time, one step at a time, but keep your mind on a good, positive result in thought. And you'll see that everything always has a way of working itself out in the end. I hope you enjoyed this message that I ended up I don't know, took a situation and, I don't know, put a metaphor to it, I guess, of life. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helps, even just one person out there. Then it was worth putting this video together. All right. I love you all, and I will see you in the next video.